Welcome to Reporters and to our continuing series on borders across the globe. In this edition, we're taking you to the dividing line between French Guiana and Brazil. From illegal crossings to unlawful panning for gold, it is the site of ongoing trouble for both countries. Despite a joint effort to crack down on criminal activity, authorities appear to be fighting an uphill battle. We get our report from Fanny, Lothaire and Damase with Séverine, Bardon and Olivier, Marzin.
An unusual activity is stirring up the Oyapock's normally calm waters.
He's crossing to the other side. Hold on tight.
Cutting through the Amazonian rainforest, this sprawling river makes up part of the 700-kilometer border between French Guiana and Brazil.
Call for ground support. We're not going to get down here.
Every day, nearly 3,000 pirogues cross between the two shores. To crack down on illegal crossings and trafficking that plague the region, France and Brazil are testing a joint river operation.
Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Sub-Prefect.
How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning, good morning.
How is Operation Horus going?
Brazil has mobilized more than 20 heavily armed men. On the French side, only 3 boats are taking part in the operation. The sub-prefect of French Guiana is quite realistic about the situation he's come to observe.
You might notice the extremely dissuasive aspect of the Brazilian weaponry, so it's good for the border. We can't hold the border alone.
While the river serves as a natural demarcation between French Guiana and Brazil, it has long acted as a bridge between indigenous communities on either side of the banks. Olivier is a deputy to the tribal chief of Espérance II, the French Guyanese village home to around 60 families of the Palika ethnic group.
How are you, my niece? Are you well, Grandma?
In this remote French region, more than half the population lives below the poverty line. Like most of her neighbors, Oli's mother lost her job because of the pandemic. For a few months, she lived on food aid provided by the French state, but now her supplies have run out.
There's only flour left. Everything else is finished. The washing powder as well. We'll have to buy more. It costs €5 for a small packet of washing powder. It's really expensive.
It's painful for me to see that my mother cannot buy enough to support our family.
Faced with this growing precarity, families like Oli's struggle to survive.
What do you want to buy?
Chicken.
On the Brazilian side, basic necessities are 5 times cheaper than in French Guiana. For a few packets of rice, coffee and sugar, Oli and his mother are going to attempt the crossing, despite the risks. The border is closed due to COVID. Indigenous people in search of a better life are not the only ones to take advantage of the porous border. 50 kilometers up the river in the Camopi region, French police are trying to stop illegal gold panning. Most of the panners come from neighboring Brazil.
The furthest we went was 4.5 hours by pirogue from Camopi. There were traces of passage everywhere, trees cut down in the middle of the creeks, so that we wouldn't be able to pass.
14 police are deployed to hunt down these illegal operations around Camopi. patrols through dense jungle, a landscape highly favorable to clandestine activities. On land, the team has discovered evidence that gold panners have recently been operating here. Everything indicates that they've just left. After a few minutes of searching,
I'm coming.
a gold panner has been arrested.
You don't have any papers? ID card?
I don't understand. Do you have papers? Papers?
We'll drop him off at the other side. We'll tell him he's not allowed back, but he doesn't care. Then he'll come back just as quickly. It's an eternal cycle.
In general, they aren't dangerous. They are just working people.
Illegal gold panning has existed here for more than 20 years and is well organized. The man who has just been arrested had the task of supplying his team.
So that's the backpack that I call the quechua. Here they have shoulder straps and this on. They put it on the forehead to carry it. They put it here for heavy loads. Here are the bundles of food that will have to be destroyed on arrival.
When someone from the police arrives, or the FAG, or whoever, they warn the other carriers.
The others are probably nearby.
Probably warned by lookouts, the other panners have managed to flee. The police officers escort the Brazilian man back to his country. He receives no punishment. The police say they don't have the means.
The Camopi border is huge. We have a little less than 15,000 square kilometers of territory to patrol. It's massive.
Nearly 10,000 gold panners are said to be active on French Guyanese soil. In the last 2 years, only 99 of them have been convicted by the French justice system. A drop of water in the Oyapock. On the river, police presence does not frighten many people, nor in Camopi. This village of 1,800 inhabitants is home to the French police officers battling against gold panning. Brigadier Jean-Marc Antoine has come from mainland France on a 4-year contract. He lives in Camopi with his wife and their baby, born in Cayenne.
You have to uncross your legs. Uncross your legs. She crosses her legs, uncrosses them. Look,
Yes, but those are the new nappies.
looks really nice.
These ones. Look how elastic they are.
Well, yeah, they're horrible.
You just cross and there you go.
Okay, no leaks there.
The couple have had to adapt to the local living conditions, including medical care from the only dispensary in Camopi.
We don't have to worry about much. Just the health of the baby. As long as she's well, everything's okay. We came back to Camopi when she was 3 days old, and since then, everything has been fine. If we have a little problem, we can come here. We know that the dispensary is always open.
Here, too, the porous border is evident. 20% of the patients are Brazilian.
And her, can you add a line?
I've done it.
I've got a pirogue on the 5th, but it'll get her there around noon or 1 p.m. I don't know until what time the consultation is open.
Yes, but we're packed.
Benoit Quentin has been a nurse at the Camopi dispensary for 7 years.
Jeanne, the doctor, has been insisting for a year that you have an operation to remove your uterus. That way you will stop bleeding.
In the Brazilian village of this patient, just across from Camopi, there is only one nurse for 600 residents. Not enough to respond to emergencies.
I already had treatment on the other side, and it was very slow. So I sought treatment in Brazil, but the treatment wasn't any good. It got worse. I was getting worse and worse. Now I know that the best treatment is here, on the French side.
Goodbye.
Bye, may God be with you.
Despite the official closure of the border to fight the pandemic, the dispensary continues to operate at full capacity. In Camopi, Brigadier Jean-Marc Antoine and his colleagues have learnt to cope with the constant back and forth of the pirogues.
The aim of people crossing the border is not to settle in France to get papers. It's not that at all. It's just to work because it's always been done. It's part of the tradition, let's say. We tell them that the border is closed, but in reality, we're not going to arrest people because they crossed the border.
All along the Oyapock, local populations play cat and mouse with the border police. In Saint-Georges, Oli and his mother are on their way to go shopping on the Brazilian side. The boatman who is going to take them across does not seem to be that worried about his illegal activities.
Usually from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. there are patrols on the river. The border police check in the morning between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. And in the afternoon it's the French police. At this time, it's quiet.
€10 minutes and €8 is all it takes to cross from France to Brazil. The price of crossing has doubled since the border was officially closed. But in Saint-Georges, 40% of families are from Brazil. Like Oli, they continue to cross frequently to see their loved ones or do some shopping.
Here you go. This product costs 2.59 reals, about 30 euro cents, but in St. George, a product like that costs 2 or 3 euros. You can't buy all this in St. George with 50 euros.
That'll be 140 reals.
Thank you. There you go, that's what I was saying. The price is 140 reals. That's about 25, 30 euros.
Between French Guiana and Brazil, Oyapock is an area of exchange rather than a demarcation line. The ongoing COVID pandemic should have meant a hermetic closure of the border. Instead, it showed more than ever how uncontrollable it is.
And that does it for this edition of Reporters. Thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for more world news here on France 24.